I stopped into a store the other day, just going about my business, shopping with my wife, looking for some new shoes, checking out the sales with no idea I was connecting to one of the best small start, small beginning stories ever. John was a guy who left his home to make his fortune in America in 1887. Landed in New York City with $5 in his pocket, couldn't speak a word of English, and forced to work in the mines and logging camps just to survive. 10 years later, still struggling, he heard about gold in Alaska and set off to strike it rich. But he did not. He did end up, however, with $13,000 from 2 years in the gold mines, moved back to Seattle, and opened up the shoe company I was shopping at. Well, not that exact one, but the first of what was later to become Nordstrom's. I just love those kind of stories and success formulas. You know, the small start, hard work, some setbacks, lots of flexibility, and lots of shrewd business moves, and bam, success. There's just one pretty significant difference when it comes to how we as Christians get there. God. God working, God finishing, God fulfilling his purposes in our lives is the difference maker. Our obedience, our faith, our trust in him to fulfill his purpose in our lives, that's success. Our life commitment, his promise fulfillment. The reason I really like these small start success stories is because that's how God usually works. You take one boy with some fish and loaves of bread, feed 5,000 people. Take a small bunch of untrained disciples, change the world. Take the smallest mustard seed of faith, move mountains. God's power is a game changer. We should never look down on the small things, the small beginnings, when we worship a God with such big power. In one of the best small start stories in the Bible, there's a group of exiled Jews and they're allowed to return to Jerusalem after 70 years of captivity. The question to them when their efforts at rebuilding their temple were blocked was, who despises the day of small things? Men will rejoice when they see the plumb line in the hand of Zerubbabel. Totally obscure. But God is trying to get them then and us now to see how big the small steps really are when God is in the mix. God told them their success wouldn't even be their success, it would be his. He said his temple would be rebuilt not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord. Take the small steps of faith in your relationship with God. Take them. Don't despise a couple of minutes of Bible study a day or 3 minutes of this video. Take the small steps of faith in your family, in your finances, at work, and with your friends. We all have things in our lives that we're working on. We'll get there when we recognize that it's not by our strength or effort that it's going to happen. When we know that God's Spirit is the difference maker, the game changer, the real power, then we can move out of the way for God to move in our lives.